Hello, this is Thunder Rosa, and you're listening to Tap Out Wrestling Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we're part of the Tap Down Wrestling Podcast Network. And we have a really, really special guest today on the show. You know her in Lucha Underground as Kobra Moon. She also is known as Thunder Rosa. So please help me welcome Thunder Rosa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, thanks a lot for coming on today. I really appreciate it. It's great to have you on today.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So how are the holidays treating you? Did you get everything you wanted for Christmas? Are you ready for the new year? How are the holidays treating you so far?
Well, I ate a lot. That's one. I was not supposed to be eating too much. So it's a good and a bad thing because I'm on a really strict diet right now. But yeah, I had a great gift. We got the gift of not doing anything on Christmas Eve. We got spa passes, so we spend there the whole day there. The day before, we did some really cool stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, I got a lot of gifts. Like, I was not expecting some people giving me some stuff, so I got a lot of gifts. And the best gift that I got is I got to spend time with my husband because we never spend time on Christmas.
Okay.
Or on our, so that was really good.
That sounds great. You see, I always try not to eat so much, but for some reason, everybody seems to be getting me chocolate or cake as a gift. So I have no choice. So I probably gained about maybe 15 pounds in the last week and a half. So I got a rough January ahead of me. I gotta work all this, extra weight off. But anyway, let's get into it. Just wanted to ask you, so what is it about pro wrestling that drew you to it, that you decided that you wanted to make it a career choice?
What made me want to become a wrestler, right? In other words, because it was just like you were cutting off. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's
correct. Yes. So what interests you in yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I think it's like the athleticism part of wrestling that make me want to become a professional wrestler. I think there's some misconception from people that are not, or that are not in the wrestling business, that this is a fake sport. But for me, like, it really changed my life in many different ways because I was never like a person that liked to be in shape or liked to be in a certain way or another. Like, it really takes an athlete to do some of the stuff that we do. But that's
absolutely.
What it got me in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people think that it's easy to become a professional wrestler, but it's not easy at all. So who were some of the wrestlers that you grew up admiring, when you were growing up? Was there a specific wrestler that you watched that you said, yeah, this is one of the reasons why I want to become a professional wrestler? So, who were some of the wrestlers you admired growing up?
None. I did not watch wrestling when I was little.
Oh, okay.
I never wanted to be a wrestler. That was never, like, when I was little, and I would be playing with my dolls and my G.I. Joes that I stole from my neighbors. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a wrestler. Like, no, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to go to school, get my bachelor's degree. I wanted to travel. I know from, like, the little girl, like, I always wanted to travel because we never got to go anywhere. I grew up in Mexico, and I was, like, the middle child out of four, and I was always stuck doing nothing in the summers and, you know, in our breaks. So I was like, yeah, I want to travel. So wrestling has allowed me to travel. So I think that's another thing that attracted me to become a wrestler.
All right, yeah. So yeah, because I know that you've traveled a lot. You've wrestled in a lot of countries, and we'll talk about that a little later. But when you finally decided to become a professional wrestler, did you have the support of your family? Because I know a lot of wrestlers that I speak to, some of them have the support, some of them don't. But how did your family feel when you decided that you're going to do this, that you want to be a pro wrestler and go for it as a career?
Well, my husband By that time, I was already married.
Okay.
And then he's the one who came out with the idea that I should be a wrestler.
Okay.
I could do it. So I listened to him more than anybody else. My mom and my dad, my dad likes wrestling. He likes Lucha Libre. So he was kind of like, all right, well, she's always been crazy, so she's going to do crazy stuff. My mom was like, not. And she still kind of like doesn't like it, but, they have no choice but to support it because I'm not going to quit.
Oh, there you go, man. There you go. Awesome, man. So I read that you were trained by Dylan Drake and Matt Carlos. So what was that training like, and what were your thoughts after you took that first bump? Were you thinking, oh, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought, or did you take to it easily? What was your initial thoughts after that first bump?
Well, boot camp was, I knew it was going to be hard. Like, I used to go there and see how the guys trained before Roland Alexander passed away, and it was hard. Like, there was, like, the classes I started, it was 20 people, and usually the people that lasted was only, like, 3 or 4, and none of them were girls. There was only one girl that was training for a long time, and I just knew, like, I heard some, like, really hard stories about the training, and the training wasn't, like, they weren't easy, they weren't, like, oh, good job, girl, keep them going. It was like, okay, yeah, you did great, I'll do it again, because you might have been, like, a spur of the moment, It was always, like, they were really hard on us. They were supportive, but they were really hard on us because they wanted to make sure that we were there for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. And, the bump part wasn't even that hard. It was, I think, the mental part, because before we got in the ring, we had to do Hell Week for 2 weeks. So we had to do, like, exercises for 3 days in a row for, like, 3.5 hours until we were, like, either puking, we quit, or whatever. Like, that's how they weeded people out. That's how the school was. That's how they had it. It wasn't like, oh, I want to join wrestling. Okay, get in the ring and then just roll around. No, you have to be in certain body condition and physical condition before you got in the ring, because that's what's going to, help you stay in shape and it's help you stay healthy. So before that, I was like, okay, I got to train super hard before I get in the ring. So I want to make sure that I smoke everybody on, like, the runs, push-ups, on everything, So... Yeah. Right off the bat, they were like, we're going to treat you just like we treat the guys, and we're not going to have no mercy on you, because you are just like one of us. So that's my experience with them, and I'm really thankful that they were like that with me, because that has made me be the person that I am and the wrestler that I am now.
Well, that sounds, you mentioned the Hell Week and 3 days of nonstop, 3 days of intense exercise where people are puking. I have trouble walking up a flight of steps, so I probably would have been out after about 30 seconds. So if I was involved with that. But you mentioned that, you, like, how long did it take until you were ready? Did you feel that you were ready to step into the ring for the first time and have your first match, while you were doing this training? How long did it take until you felt you were ready?
Well, the original training, before you had your matches, it was between 1 year and 2 years. You want to make sure that when you did certain stuff, that you did them correctly to their eyes, how it was taught, the old school way. But for me, it was, I went to a show, it was a seminar, because we usually have seminars before our shows, and then somebody got hurt, and they asked me if I could do a match, and I said yes, and then my coach was like, yes, you can do a squash match, it's fine. So that's how we started. It was by pure luck. 8 months, actually. 8 months of my training.
Wow. So you said you did a squash match. You remember who the opponent was?
Sort of, but those are the matches that I'm like, man, I wish I would have got some stuff in, but that's okay.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So actually, how did you come up with the name Thunder Rosa? When did you come up with that name?
We were on the road, and this is when I was still, this is before I started wrestling, and I was doing, managing or, doing, ring girl or whatever, and I used to work in a place called Thunder Road. So we wanted to have something that had to do with the place that I started when I started wrestling, And So we use Thunder Road because that's a rehab facility for adolescents. And it meant a lot to me because I was like change and like hope and whatever. So I was like, okay, let's do something that is kind of like American and like Latino. And so we use Thunder from the Thunder Road part and the Rosa for, just like sound Latino. So that's how we came up with Thunder Rosa.
All right, that's a great name, by the way. Very, very good name that you got there. I was always curious how you came up with that name. So initially, how difficult was it to get booked? And what steps did you take to get your name out there to get on some shows early on?
It wasn't like really easy. I mean, it was that's part of like the training and things that we learned on the way. It was like us showing up to places and like putting the ring up for them before I started wrestling. So a lot of the places knew who I was even before, and because I paid my dues doing it that way. So some of the first bookings wasn't that hard. Again, it was because I was still a student and I was showed up early, even if I wasn't booked, and that's how I got some of my bookings. After it became a little harder because once you start charging, some people don't want to pay and they want to pay student rate. So that's when it became more difficult. So that's when I had to get out more of my area.
Okay, so early on in your career, you wrestled for Stardom. And I was wondering, what was that experience like working for Stardom, and how did it feel, so early on in your career to be able to go over to Japan and wrestle for an organization like Stardom?
Well, definitely that's one of the things that I learned how to work on the fly and learn how to like improvise when you don't know what you're doing. Stardom was really that for me. It was an eye-opening experience in many different ways. As a person, as a wrestler, as a future star, it's like things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do. So I think it was the perfect timing for me to be there because I met wonderful people that are some of my really good friends still, which is Starfire. She's in Mexico, and she opened doors for me in Mexico. And Nikki Storm, who talk about me when she was in Scotland and working in Scotland before. So definitely it was great for me because I met other people from Europe that also opened doors for me. So it was like a great networking experience, and it was good overall. But it also had like some really scary things for me, like when I got my first concussion, being out in a country that you don't know the language,
sure.
Doing things that you're not familiar with, but you still have to do them. Just like learning on the fly and like learning another language and another culture. So it was like really eye opening.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how difficult it was for you to adjust to life in Japan. I'd say I guess it was a little difficult at first, but did you finally get more comfortable as the months? You were there for a few months, I believe, but did you get comfortable as the months went on?
Yeah, my first month was okay. Then the second month, that's when I got hurt, so I had a lot of time to like go around, visit, know about the culture and whatever. And then the third one, that felt more comfortable, but I think my second tour was better because I knew already more people, and then, I saved up a little bit more of money to, like, have, like, my own Wi-Fi so I can be connected with people, because it's like, being disconnected with your family, I think that takes a toll. And, like, my husband and I, that was, like, the first time that we were, like, away from that long, and, like, not being able to talk to them in a constant basis, it really gets onto you, Like it becomes a little... For some people, like, living like that is a little depressive. But I have really good friends. I'm so happy that, and that's where, like, Starfire and Nikki were there for me. Because otherwise, I think it would have been so difficult if I didn't have them. Because we were like a family. We treat each other like sisters. We looked after each other all the time. And that was, like, really, really good experience.
Yeah, I wanted to you mentioned that it was your first concussion out there. How many concussions have you had altogether, if I may ask?
One that I know, or two.
Oh, just the one that you know. Okay, because you said first concussion. I thought maybe there was a few others, but just the one that you know. Okay.
No, I might have was like less severe than that one. That one I was out for a whole week. Like I could not get up. I couldn't wake up. It was scary. It was like really, really scary. Never felt like that it was crazy.
So how did that happen? Was it in a match? How did that concussion occur?
I think I was already a little concussed from like practice, and I was kind of feeling kind of funky. Then I had a match. Then something happened during the match, and I remember just like, I don't know. It was like one of those matches that you don't want to remember. Okay. And then I started feeling really funky, like a day after, and then as the days progressed, like I started feeling really, really dizzy. I couldn't get up. I started like I was like really pale. I had to go to practice because I didn't know what was wrong with me. I could not walk. Oh, like wow. It was like that bad. And I went to practice, and I remember I was in practice, and we had to practice some stuff for a show that was coming up. And I was still practicing until like one of the ladies there. She's like, "You guys need to stop. Like she's not right." Because I was like sleeping everywhere. Like as soon as I would like sit down, I would fall asleep. It was really bad. And then she's like, "You need to go to the hospital." And I'm like, "I don't think I'm gonna go to the hospital." You know, I'm like, I didn't want to ask or I didn't want to bother anybody. And she's like, "No, you're gonna go to the hospital." So she talked to the promoter, and then she's like, "You gotta take her to the hospital." Then she took me on a taxi to the guy's house, and then he saw me. She's like, "No, she's okay." And then they call the ambulance, and then in the ambulance, that's when I started vomiting, and they're like, "Yeah, she's concussed." So I'm so thankful that she advocated for me, because I was so scared, because I was so new. I didn't want to bother anybody. Like that's in situations like there's a lot of people that get in those situations, and they don't want to bother anybody because they're ashamed or because we don't want to be a nuisance to the promoter, because it's your first time. It's a huge opportunity, and it's like, I don't know, I just like thought about it, kind of like it was scary. It was a very scary moment, but I'm so happy that people like helped me out, and I was safe, and I'm talking to you now.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, I know you. Something like that, yeah, health always comes first. So I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad. How long did it take for you to recover? Did you say it was a few months, or how long did it take for you to get back in the ring?
A whole month. I was taken to the hospital. They did a CT scan. They did everything. So the doctor's like, "Oh, she needs to be out for a couple weeks." So they're like, "Okay, you'll be out for a couple weeks." And then after I was good, I had another match. So.
Okay.
And then,
okay.
I came back.
All right, that's good. Well, I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad you recovered and you're back in the ring. So I was reading that you said you like to incorporate 3 different styles: lucha, Japanese, and American. Is there one style that you feel more comfortable using, or are you comfortable with all 3? Which style do you feel more comfortable using in the ring?
I mean, American, of course, because that was like what I first learned, and that's what has been ingrained in my brain. Lucha, I like the flair, I like the athleticism, and the Japanese style, I like the keeper pad and like how physical it was. So it depends on the situation and it depends on the match too. So.
Okay, yeah, and I also want to ask. How did you get involved with Lucha Underground, and how did the character of Kobra Moon, how was that character developed?
That was scouted by them in a local show, and I know that some of my friends that I worked with before, they mentioned my name, so when they saw me, they were like, "Okay," it's like, now I see what they're talking about. So that's how that started. And Kobra Moon, that was a character that they already had, and they were looking for a girl for quite a while. Okay. And I'm really glad that they offered that character to me. Like I said, it's something completely different to what I normally do, and the feedback that I've gotten is that it is indeed completely different. That when they see Kobra Moon and when they see Thunder Rosa in the ring.
Yeah, it's a terrific character. So how has your experience been in Lucha Underground? I would take it's been fantastic, but I'll ask you how your experience has been in Lucha Underground so far.
It has definitely helped me a lot on developing the character from the beginning to now. Again, it was pretty much lit up to me how I was gonna portray the character, and they were giving me pointers, so that's always really good. They give you freedom to be creative with it, so that's what I like about being in Lucha Underground. Also, it has taught me a lot of, like, working with, like, different people from different styles, from different companies, and they're all together, working, you know, watching Rey Mysterio, Pentagon, Phoenix, like, some of the women that are there, too, is, like, it's been really nice, and you know, like, writing notes and just looking how they put things together, it was beautiful. So some of the stuff that I learned there, like, I bring them with me when I'm, like, in class with other people, learning with them too, because, you know, you never know, like, there's the little things that we do that matter, and that's what I see, and then what I keep learning every time I get in the ring with them.
Now I gotta ask. I know you work with Drago in Lucha Underground. I get freaked out by that tongue on TV when he sticks that tongue out, the dragon tongue. What's it like being up close to that tongue? Does it freak you out like it freaks me out, or I couldn't get too close to that tongue? I'm just wondering if that tongue kind of freaks you out as well.
I actually like how freaky he is, Drago. It's
okay.
Like, it just, like, looks so cool. And it's just kind of nasty, though.
Yeah, it is very nasty. I have to turn away when it comes out on TV, but I can't imagine someone being up close to it. I'm sorry?
I keep him in control, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I know. That's cool, man. But you guys work well together on the show, and in 2016, I was reading that you won the Southern California Women's Wrestler of the Year award. That must have been what did that feel like? And that must have been a great accomplishment, winning that award.
Well, that was actually the first time as being a women wrestler that I got an award like that in California. It's been, you know, the wrestling business sometimes you put so much in that you feel like you don't get nothing back. So for the fans to have voted me as the first ever female women wrestler of the year meant a lot, because not only because I received that in my hometown in San Diego, California, but it was, like, in front of my parents, and it was really special, and it was just like one testament of the hard work that me and my husband we put together in the last 2 years, and that I keep that really close to my heart. Like, it means a lot to me.
Now, we mentioned a little earlier, you said that you always want to travel, and I know you've been wrestling all over the world. You've been in England, Scotland, Spain, Japan, been in Canada. Do you have a favorite country to work in? Mexico as well. Do you have a favorite country that you work in, or do you love all the countries just the same, or do you have a preference or where you would like to work?
No, it all depends where you work and, like, the crowd. I mean, I like Mexico because it's like they just get into it with you, and if they don't like you, they made it known. And that's what I like about Mexico. London is just different. Again, it depends on the crowd, but I really enjoy working in London. Germany was fun. Like, the fans in Germany are super hot, like, warm, and like, when they come to you and they're like, oh my God, I couldn't wait to see you, and then they know who you are. It feels amazing. Let's see. I mean, I like the United States.
Sure.
It's really cool to work here too, because the fans are they're very hot or very cold. But when they're hot, it's fun. It's fun to work there.
Well, it must be again another feeling of terrific accomplishment, knowing that you're getting booked all over the world. That your wrestling dream seems to be coming true, because you're being booked all over the place. So you're obviously doing something right to be getting booked everywhere. And again, that must be a great feeling of accomplishment to get booked in all these different countries.
Yeah, it is, because again, people appreciate your work, and they want to bring it to their promotion, and it's an investment, you know. And I'm happy they're investing in me, and I'm investing in them too.
So tell me about the Twisted Sisters, you and Holidead. How did that come about? How did you guys meet up and become a tag team? Because you guys are a great tag team. I was always wondering how that tag team originated.
It was a concept that started after, we were like wrestling each other for so long, and then my husband was like, well, how about you guys just tag? I mean, you're always wrestling each other. I'm like, well, sounds like a good idea. And then we started tagging in a promotion where I debuted. That was the first time that we tagged in Chico. What's the other place? Oroville, California. And we tag against guys. So it started like that, and it was just like, we just had a lot of chemistry there, and then we took it on from there and just took off.
Yeah, I know you've held a number of titles, I think, tag team titles, and you've also held a number of single titles as well. Is there one specific title that you're proudest of, or what would you say is your proudest moment, proudest accomplishment to date, being a professional wrestler?
I think, again, making history and being like the first ever on something that I'm always proud of, and being the very first women to hold an NWA sanctioned title in the history of the NWA meant a lot, and defending it in Broken Hall last year, it meant a lot. That was when we got the tag team title. For a lot of people, they're like, yeah, whatever, you guys don't have it anymore, but we are on the books as the first women ever to hold something like that. They will always be in my book as something very important.
A lot of accomplishments. A lot of you've done a lot of things to be really proud of in the world of professional wrestling. Absolutely, and you're saying that you're being one of the first women in NWA to hold the title. That's a great accomplishment as well. So back to Twisted Sisters for a second. Is that where you started the face paint, or did you start doing face paint before that? Before the Twisted Sisters?
We both always had face paint, but the full face paint, because we are, sisters, we wanted to make sure that we incorporated both hers and mine on each other's face on the same side, So, because it's more cohesive. And I know like now a lot of people are using face paint and all that stuff, but ours is like, I always say that ours is different.
So how do you keep in wrestling shape? What kind of training regimen are you doing to make sure that you're always in tip-top shape?
Well, I invest in my health. Image is everything for this business. We're entertainers, and also for to stay healthy in the ring, you gotta book and train a certain way. So I invest a lot on that. So right now I'm a pretty good diet with Alberto Sevilla, who's the trainer. He's a dietitian for Alberto Del Rio and Hijo de Fantasma, or King Cuerno from Lucha Underground. He's the one who introduced me to him. So I've been using him for about a year now. So that's what is helping me to like really stay in top shape. Because I was already training, but I felt like I needed something extra. So, but now I'm with him right now. So he sends me my diet and my workouts, and so that's that aspect. Then I'm a sponsor athlete for Strike First Nutrition, and they send all my supplements to my house at no cost. And
wow!
So I wanna check them out. They're www.strikefirstnutrition.com.
Okay.
And I have a code, and you can get 15% discount by using Thunder when you check out and you buy your stuff. Honestly, it's the best protein shake that I've tasted in my life.
Okay.
I love it. I've used it for over a year too, and so that's that part. And I also am training jiu-jitsu twice a week at BTT in San Antonio, and I'm training in the ring twice a week at High Risk School of Wrestling in San Antonio, Texas. And I go to the gym six times a week.
That's pretty good. I like I said, I've eaten a lot of cake and chocolate for Christmas, so I got to get to the gym myself. But I like to get there at least once or twice a week. But you're going 6 times a week. That's so you're keeping in great ring shape there. Now you mentioned jiu-jitsu. Do you use some of those? Do you incorporate some those jiu-jitsu moves in the ring? Maybe like as a submission hold or something like that.
I would like to in the future. I mean, I'm incorporating some submissions in what I do. I always like submissions, but I'm doing this more because, like I said, I want to be more like versatile. And if there's so I don't have like only one style that I want to work. Like I always can. I feel I can work with anybody, you know, and know how to move my body. And I think that's the most important thing of doing like martial arts that way is like knowing your body and knowing other people's bodies too. So that's why I'm doing it. I mean, wrestling is really fun, but I like to learn other stuff too. And I've been doing wrestling for 3 years, so I'm like, it's time to learn something new that is related to what I do.
Sure. So you've only been wrestling for 3 years, huh? Just for 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow, so you've come a long way in 3 years. I know some wrestlers, it might take them 10, 15 years to make it, but you're 3 years, you've come a long way with Stardom, Lucha Underground. What's the ultimate goal then? Since you've already been at Stardom, you've been in Lucha Underground, do you have an ultimate goal, getting to WWE or getting to New Japan, to a Ring of Honor or something like that? Or what would be the ultimate goal?
Well, I definitely like to work with Ring of Honor right now. In other companies that are popular here in the United States, I know that's on my checklist to do. And if it's possible, I'll do everything that is necessary to achieve that. I feel like I always had a sense of urgency in the business. I'm here to make money, wrestle, and keep my fans happy, and at the same time, it's like be able to be successful. Because otherwise, for me, it's like the same thing with school. I always want to get straight A's. I wasn't there to like just go and pass a class. I always want to be like on top and be one of the ones that excel. Even though if it's the only one that notices is me and my family. For me, it's not about getting like the recognition all the time and everything. It feels great. When I get it, it feels amazing. But if I don't, at least I know I tried my best. I tried my hardest. I achieved it. I conquered and moved on and win and conquer something else, you know. So right now, I'm enjoying the moment. I'm enjoying the fact that I am able to wrestle in my state, Texas. I'm getting to get new fans, get new people, and from there, I just want to start moving on and working in bigger promotions in the United States and regularly, of course. And see what happens, and also branch out to other things that are not related to wrestling too.
Yeah, you mentioned Ring of Honor, and I know Ring of Honor. They're having their first ever women's title tournament is coming up in January, and there's I think 7 spots left. I think you'd be fantastic in the tournament. Do you have that on your mind and hoping to get into that tournament somehow?
If it's like possible. You know, I would love to work and do that. It will be great exposure, especially because it's so hot and it's the first time ever Honor actually has a title for women, you know. So if it's possible and they call me, why not? I will say yes. Like, again, like a lot of the girls that are in that, and women that are in that tournament, people that I've worked along with or have worked in the ring with. So I will be thrilled to do it.
Yeah, like I said, I think you would be fantastic in that tournament. They have some really good talent there, and I think you would fit in perfectly in Ring of Honor and Women of Honor. There's 7 spots left. I would love for you to get a phone call and take one of those 7 spots that are left. I
make
think
sure you make it known on Twitter and on the listeners that especially if you guys know of a wrestler that you guys really enjoy. I think sometimes it's more powerful when we have the power of the masses on social media telling bookers and promoters, hey, book this person, hey, book this person. Probably they don't even know that this person is available or that is good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you want me to be there, just make sure you tweet it so they can get it.
You know what? You have my word. As soon as we're done here, I'm going on Twitter and I'm going to tweet to Ring of Honor that Thunder Rosa should be in the Women of Honor title tournament. You have my word on that. As soon as we're done, I'm getting right on Twitter. I'm going to tweet that out.
Thank you, promise.
All right, man. Just you got to retweet it though. We're going to try to get as many people to retweet that, and we want to get you into that title tournament because I think you would be fantastic in that tournament.
Thank you. So, that's an honor.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. You deserve it. You deserve it, Thunder Rosa. Absolutely, 100%. So I was watching some matches before we started talking, and the last match I watched was against Taya Valkyrie, which was a fantastic match. Do you have any favorite opponents that you wrestled, or even toughest opponents that you've gone against?
I love wrestling Lufisto. She is wonderful. Like, she has so much knowledge. She's so easy to work with. Like, I really enjoy matches where you can do that. The same with Su Young. Su Young is super easy to work with, and she just like loves to create. For her, it's like all about creating art in the ring, and it shows with her character and everything. With Holidead, of course, because I know her and she knows me, so we can just go balls out. Or we can just make it as simple as we want. It's like really cool to work with somebody like that and feel comfortable. And here in Dallas, one of my favorite luchadoras is Sadika. She's just absolutely insane. She likes to do some crazy stuff. We just had a match last week, and we did a extreme cupcake match. We were full of like icing. Icing was everywhere. The fans loved it. They threw us like $100 in the ring. It was great. And she's an amazing talent. So, and Lady Apache, too. Lady Apache is by far my favorite.
Now we mentioned a couple of favorite opponents. Do you have any dream opponents that you like to go up against that you haven't met yet?
Not like, oh my God, I died to have this match. I'm just right now in 2018. I'm like really hoping to, with every person that I step in the ring, to have the best match that we can, to steal the show, like to show everybody why women's wrestling is hot now, and like we can create together and we can have fun together. And I think my match right now that I'm really looking forward to, and I've been putting a lot of effort in it with my promos, with learning new stuff, learning new styles, is with Sammy Guevara.
Oh, that's a great talent right there. Sammy Guevara.
Really looking forward to it because I don't think I haven't wrestled somebody as high-flying as he is, and just like me, he's been everywhere. He's worked with everybody, but I don't think he has had an intergender match, so this is going to be very interesting.
Okay, well, when is that match going to take place?
January 19th at the Come and Take It Live in Austin, Texas. For Sabotage.
I feel bad for Sammy. In that match. Don't let him hit you with that 630 splash. If you avoid that, you'll be fine.
All right. That in mind.
So, what do you do when you're not wrestling, when you're not working out? What do you do for leisure? What do you do on your downtime?
I actually don't promote myself. So in my downtime, I go into stores and post flyers. I have some time off, man. This is like my life. I go and post flyers, and I'm a promoter. I promote Sabotage Wrestling. My husband owns the promotion. He is a veteran on promotion. We are a female promotion in the state of Texas. We moved from California to the state of Texas. So I've been doing a lot of promotion for the show and also for myself. So every time I go to the store or talk to a new person, I pass on my cards. I tell them I'm a wrestler, blah, blah, blah. And it's really cool because, like, now people are getting to know me. And every time, like, when I go to the post office, like, the guys from the post office know that I'm a wrestler. And they're like, where's the calendar, girl? And I told them that I was going to give them a calendar for Christmas. So I had to give them a calendar for Christmas. And they were so happy to see me. Every time I'm there, I get a hug. I get a piece of chocolate. They make sure my stuff gets, stand correctly. They love it. So, and I love it too because I'm getting to know my community. I'm getting to know the cities that I work with, and I get to know new fans and new people. So I'm a people's person, so I like to do that.
Wow, that's awesome. So they give you chocolate at the post office, huh? That's pretty cool. Yeah. They won't give me chocolate at the post office, so I'm a little jealous there. I'm a little jealous that you're getting chocolate when you go to the post office.
Oh, there's older guy. His name is Eloy. He comes, hey, Thunder Rosa, do you want a little piece of candy? And I'm like, I can't say no to candy. So I was like, yeah. And then he's here. Merry Christmas. I'm like, yes. Even the mailman loves me.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, when I go to the post office, they just want me to get out of there as fast as possible. That's they don't care that I'm there. So
everything.
So if anybody, any up and coming, actually, say a young person comes up to you and they say that they want to pursue professional wrestling, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to start pursuing professional wrestling?
I would say that they have to be like 100% sure that this is what they want to do for a living. And if this is what they want to do for a living, I will say they always have to have a plan B to make sure that they're able to sustain this lifestyle. This lifestyle is not cheap. Like, if you want to be the best, you got to train like the best and with the best. Find a really good school with a good trainer. And then invest in yourself. Like, when I'm talking about acting classes, I'm talking about if you can afford a personal trainer, if you're in terrible shape, do that. Eating right, and I'm not talking about buying organic food. It's like really eating right and learning how to do this. Like, learn how to take care of yourself, because that's an important part too, like self-care. And like, I had to learn. I'm thankful that I started at an older age, because I already had, you know, my career and everything, and I knew how to do certain stuff for myself. But for young people that are 16, 17, like, they just want to start and they start hot, and it's like they just get into so much trouble. Like, I will say that. And like, really, if you're gonna do it, go all balls out, or just don't like tippy toe on everything, because this is a cutthroat business.
Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself being a coach one day? I mean, maybe a trainer, a professional wrestling trainer.
I mean, I work with a lot of the girls, the young talent right now here in Texas, in my local area, and I'm really thankful that, you know, people in like hybrid. I'm working with Kiana. She's a doll. She's been training there for a year, and every time I can, I train with her one-on-one. Then I'm training with other girls in TWS in San Antonio too. TW, he's allowing me to train with them. So there's like 5 or 6 girls that I do that with, and like all over Texas, like they are allowing me to like run seminars and stuff, because they believe that I have some knowledge that I can share with the guys and the girls, and every time I can, I do it, and I really do enjoy it, because, like I said, my trainers, they were like that with me, and then we all learned together collaboratively. And the same way that I went to other places in Chicago, you know, they became family. Some new trainers and some of my friends, we became family, and I want to bring that and teach that to them, because like, some of these guys have never been anywhere, and then when you bring some of different styles, they're just like, whoa, I'm completely blown away, you know, and that's how some of my trainers were when they came from Chicago, when they came from Texas, when they came from Florida. They'll come to our school and teach us new stuff that they learn, and then that's how we all learn, you know.
All right, so last question, and then I'll let you go. What is actually 2 more questions? I'm sorry. What does 2018 have in store? What can we expect from Thunder Rosa in 2018?
Well, you're gonna expect a lot of cool merch coming out. Very cool merch coming out for all of us that don't have my shirt, my sticker, or my calendars. I'm working on really tapping on all this hard work that I'm doing on my body to like maybe create a book, like a model book for it, and like show that, because that's another aspect of Thunder Rosa, like the modeling part, the beauty part that not a lot of people see. Definitely, I'm gonna be working in new promotions this next year, and I think after taping some Lucha Underground, I'm really looking forward to work big promotions in the East Coast and the Midwest. Knock on wood, I get the opportunity, and continue to build more for Sabotage Wrestling, and coach a lot more with some of the girls, because like important that to build and help the up and coming girls to become better wrestlers.
Okay. Get Thunder Rosa in the Ring of Honor Women's Title Tournament. So I'm going to start that right away. I have my word on that. I'm going to start that right away. Do you have anything you want to plug before you go? And I have a feeling you have a lot to plug. But any websites, t-shirts, anything for sale? Go ahead, plug away. Anything you want to plug?
So I'm selling my calendar, shirts, and everything. Send me an email at thunderrosa22@gmail.com if you're interested. Also, I have some older pictures in my website at unstoppablecr.com. My social media is Twitter and Instagram, thunderrosa22. Facebook is thunderrosa2. YouTube is thunderrosa22. We have a show on January 19th, the first intergender show in the state of Texas, The War of the Genders 2 for Sabotage Wrestling. January 19th at 8 p.m. at the Come and Take It Live in Austin, Texas. And we have a bunch of stuff at that show that people are not expecting. So we're not streaming the show, so buy it when it's available.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna say, yeah, that's a show. I want to see that show. I'm up here in Canada, so I wouldn't be able to make it live. But you said it'll be available on DVD at some point, or
it will be available. Yes, I think we are gonna do DVDs for this one, and will also be available for download.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely one to check out. Definitely one I want to check out because that's the one where you're taking on Sammy Guevara. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm taking Sammy Guevara on that show. We're main eventing.
Main event, yeah. All right. Anyway, I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future. And you're already a star. I was going to say you're going to be a big star. But you're already a star and you're going to even be a bigger star in 2018. Keep up the great work. And again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right.
By the way.
Oh, Happy New Year to you too, and I'll try to cut down on the chocolate, but I can't promise anything. I have a whole bowl of chocolate in front of me right now, so.
I'm so jealous. So jealous.
Yeah, but you get chocolate at post offices, so I don't. So yeah, you got to give me something. You got to give me something here. Anyway, again, thank you so much for joining me today. So this has been the Pro Wrestling Personified podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. Again, I want to thank Thunder Rosa for joining me today. Until next time, thank you everybody. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.